Eddie Hearn, just crazy scenes there in the main event. Rocky ahead on 2 of the scorecards, but Shaki Foster pulls it out of the bag.
Unbelievable. One of the most dramatic fights I've seen. The 11th round, probably one of the best rounds I've ever seen. Just an incredible night. And, you know, Rocky Hernandez was 45 seconds away. You know, and one of these things about the WBC Open scoring, very interesting. They knew the scores after 8 rounds, both corners. And they knew that Foster had to stop him in the 11th and in the 12th. In the 11th, he had him done. And I'm just thinking to Rocky Hernandez, just hold. But he don't know how to hold because he just has a war every time. And he hurt Foster and nearly stopped him. And then came out, it's actually a good stoppage from the ref. And what a fight, what a finish. Hats off to Shaki Foster because he was about to lose his world title. You know, one of the scores was much too wide for Rocky Hernandez. I had Rocky up by a round or 2, but 10-7, what could have been in the last round. But, you know, on the scorecards, he had to stop him in the last. And what a fight in Mexico.
Shaki Foster's style maybe not the most appealing in the early rounds, but I think importantly he rode the storm, came through and obviously put it to bed in the end.
Yeah, I think, and when you're scoring the fight, you know, I had a bit of a row with Bobby, the trainer. He was like, it's a joke, you know, they had him winning every round after 8 rounds. And I said, I probably had it 5-3 or 6-2 to Rocky. What? We won the first 4 rounds. I went, probably not here. Like, you know, I know that the odd stuff's nice, but when it's just relentless pressure, even the ones that are hitting the arms, the shoulders, the back, the body, like Rocky was working very hard in the early rounds. So whatever way you score it, it's irrelevant because they knew the scores and they knew they had to stop him in the last round to win the fight.
You said that 11th round was probably the best you've ever seen. No idea how Rocky stayed in his feet and then actually ended up almost stopping Shaki Foster as well.
Yeah, but again, just hold. I mean, you know, the one thing that he didn't want to do was go down, because that turns the fight and that turns the scorecards. And he nearly went down in the 11th, but obviously he went down twice in the 12th. And as I said, you know, there's 45 seconds left. Just learn to hold. But it wasn't to be. Incredible crowd, incredible atmosphere. Yeah, what a fight, what a night.
In terms of what's next for Shaki Foster, I believe promotional free agent, do you believe that we'll be working again with him in the future?
Yeah, I mean, look, we want to make the winner of tonight against the winner of next week. You know, Bobby just said Joe Cordina has a really tough fight next week against Vasquez, but we believe he'll come through. And when he does, we want to make that Foster fight, you know, whether that's outdoors in Cardiff, whether that's in Vegas or America, New York. I want Joe Cordina to win every belt in the division. I think he's the best 130-pounder out there, but he's got a very tough fight in Vasquez next week, so we'll see what happens.
Rocky came up short tonight, but definitely still a player in this division, yeah, and potentially a fight with someone else on the card as well, maybe.
And also a massive fan favourite. So, I mean, look, you imagine a fight between Rocky Hernandez and Sugar Nunes, who we saw tonight. That guy's a bad man. So much talent out here in Mexico, and Rocky will be back for sure.
Like you just said, Sugar made it 25 wins by way of knockout. It looks like he'll fight Rakhimov next and be a final eliminator.
Sugar Nunes is a big problem for the division. Huge puncher. Every victory he's ever had is by knockout. 25 wins, 25 knockouts, 26 wins. Him against Rakhimov is X-rated. And that could be a fight of the year for 2024. So we want to get that locked in. That's for the mandatory of Joe Cordina. It's a tough fight. But Nunes, again, heavy hands, massive knockout tonight.
Justice Hooney as well, finally making his Matchroom debut. Impressive, I thought, at times, and a bit of a phone box war as well.
Yeah, it's a great fight. It's a very high-skilled heavyweight fight. I've got to be honest, like, having been out for a year, to come back against someone like Andrew Tabiti shows really the levels they're willing to go to. When you're a smaller, fast heavyweight, the last thing you really want to fight is another smaller, fast heavyweight. You want to fight a slower heavyweight where you can, you know, use your speed and your agility. So it was a very high-level fight. I thought he won the fight comfortably, and after being out for a year, I thought it was a big win for him. 8-0 only. You know, he's a massive talent and a big future ahead.
The first of many titles tonight, I'm sure. What would you like to do next with him and move him at what pace?
Activity. You know, that's the key. Obviously, he was injured. This fight was supposed to be early this year. But activity. If we can get him out in December, maybe in Australia, that would be great. But, you know, they want to move fast. And he's got the amateur pedigree. He's got the ability. Still needs to get a little bit bigger in the division. But Justice Hooney's going to be a big player in the heavyweight division, and look forward to the next step.
We went over the Fury and Ngannou stuff earlier, so I won't go over it into too much detail, but a few things have happened since. The press conference was cancelled after the fight. I just wondered why you think that might have been the case.
I just think Fury probably didn't want to do it. I mean, look, the problem they've got now is no one wants to see Fury Usyk. like everyone thought Fury lost tonight, so the heat is on, and people want to see Ngannou get his shot again or his chance. But if Fury Usyk is contracted, I haven't spoke to AJ yet, the boss, but Ngannou against AJ probably becomes the biggest fight in boxing. And there are actually people that think Ngannou wins that fight. So please, no problem at all. Again, I've got to speak to AJ. He wants to win the world heavyweight title, but he never was interested in a fight with Ngannou. But the fact that Ngannou's just beat Tyson Fury kind of gives him the credibility. So we'll see. There's going to be a lot of conversations. I'm buzzing for Anthony Joshua because the heavyweight division got turned on its head tonight. And I believe he's going to beat them all. Call me deluded, call me a fanboy. He knocks out Tyson Fury, no problem. He beats Deontay Wilder, no problem. And he definitely knocks out Francis Ngannou. So take your pick, 2024, the big boy's coming.
It's been a problem to lock those sort of fights in so far, but do you feel like you're confident that we'll at least get to see at least one of those?
Yeah, I just think like tonight's the kind of thing that can just shake the division up. And I feel like without making AJ against Fury, that would be, really disappointing looking back on that. And I don't think he's got much left in the tank. He definitely don't beat Anthony Joshua. And I know people laughed at me. They won't laugh as much now. I'm sure people still think he wins. If you watch the punch that Ngannou landed, it wasn't even a big shot. It was off the shoulder. I just, you're talking about a guy, and I think Francis Ngannou deserves a lot of respect. But he's never had a fight before. We can't start saying he's a world class, but he's just not. And again, I want to see the odds. I want to see the bookmakers mark up the odds for AJ against Ngannou, because I've got a funny feeling some people will think it's a 50-50. Fantastic, sign me up. We'll see.
Just before I let you go, obviously next week we are in Monaco. We've touched on Joe Cordina, but he can't overlook Edward Vazquez next week.
And I just spoke to O'Shaki Foster and Bobby, the trainer, and I said, oh look, Cordina next in the spring. They said he's got to get past Vazquez. That's a tough fight. He trains with them in the gym, spars with them a lot, and Vazquez is going to bring the heat next week. Sometimes when you're thinking about the next one or the unification, these ones are really tough. And it's going to be a great card in Monaco next week and a tough fight for Joe Cordina.
O'Shaki Foster will feel he's the best 130-pounder in the world, but you firmly believe that Joe Cordina is levels.
I think O'Shaki Foster's a class fighter. For me, Cordina #1 all day long. He's proved it twice. He's got to prove it again next Saturday.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for your time.